Okay. So control structures means we have two types of control structures. One is conditional based, and the second one is loops. So there are two other statements, break and continue statements. So those are also important. So the last we'll see array concept later, but first we need this for writing the programs, and so then we'll call the methods in different classes. So we'll see that. So what is if condition? So if statement in Java is basically to make a simple decisions, you will use this if statement. So it is used to show whether the statement or a block of code need to execute or not. If condition is true, the block of statement will execute. Otherwise, block of statement will skip continuously. So it won't enter here if this condition is false. Only if condition is true, it will come inside. So that's the one thing. And if condition statement 1, statement 2, so statement 1 and statement 2. So these two, if for example, if we don't put a curly brackets, only one will be considered belongs to this condition. So this is the other statement they will treat. So that's the one. And without curly bracket also you can write if condition, but so if you put a curly bracket, all the statements inside the block will be easy to identify. But here, if you don't put this curly bracket, only first statement will be considered as under this if condition. So this is out of condition. So that's the one thing. And also we have if condition is true and code inside the curly braces region, it will execute. If condition is false, it will skip that block. So that is if condition. And you can write this condition place. Either you can write a Boolean value or expression you can write. So expression means like this you can write. Either you can put a relational operators or logical operators, anything you can write here. So like this. So that is what this if condition. So then we have directly you can give a Boolean condition also like this. That's a if condition, simple one. So then we have an if else condition. If else is basically so in the if condition, what we are doing, we are executing only one block of code, only if block, right? But if the condition is false and we are not executing anything there, so instead of leaving that, so without the condition is so not true, and what we can do is we can use if else statement. You want to check both the conditions, so then you can use if else conditions. So if statement block of statement will be executed if the condition is true, otherwise so block of the statement will be skipped. That's what then the if condition. So but also want to execute some other block of code. If the condition is false, then you can use if else statements in Java. So here two blocks will be there. One is the if block and another one is else block. So if block will execute only if condition is true, and if condition is false, then else block will execute. So that's the part here. So you can see here, if condition is true, then this if block will execute. If condition is false, controller will go to else block. So that's a flow chart. Condition is true, if block, condition is false, else block, and so then finally it will come out any of the blocks. So that is one if else. So for example, if you want multiple blocks, okay, nested if else. So nested if else means more than one conditions if you want to check. More than one condition if you want to check. Then you can use a nested if else. So that is also called if else if ladder. If else if ladder we call that. And so if condition is true, and so then so that block of code will execute. So if this condition is not true, it will come to next condition. So basically you can check more conditions in the nested if else. So that is the how this nested if else will work. For example, mostly you want to launch in different browsers. So your test script. So you have to write a nested if else check. Okay, if browser value is equal to Firefox, and Firefox code will execute that block of code. If browser is Chrome, Chrome code will execute. If browser is Edge, Edge code will execute. If browser is IE code will execute. If browser is Opera code will execute. So like that, multiple uh, things, conditions you can check with the nested if else condition. So this is the flow chart. If condition 1 is true, and this statement will execute. So false, first condition is false, it will go to condition 2. If condition 2 is true, and so that part will execute. And condition 2 is false, and then condition 3 will be checked. So it's like a waterfall kind of thing. So if that condition is true, that will execute. So then it won't come to other blocks. So that's a nested if else. So like this, if condition 1 true, condition 1 statements will execute. Else if condition 2 statements will execute. Else if condition 3 statements will execute. Else if condition 4 statements. So like this, all the statements will execute. So this is also complex. So you see all the structure. So this structure is complex, right? But you want to check multiple conditions, you can use this nested if else conditions. So that's the one important kind of. So this, okay, else false statements will be executed. So even if you see in the given ABC, which one is big if you want to find out, and you can use this nested if else or if else if ladder thing you can use. Okay, so any questions here? Okay. So the next one is switch case. So switch case, here are the examples. I have given a lot of examples. Anyone will write later. This leap year also. That is also one example for a nested if else. Or so calculating the so BMI also another example. You can practice whichever you like it. And then we have a last one, if else switch case. So it's similar to if else if ladder, but this is more no readable format than nested if else. So To reduce the code complexity of the if-else-if ladder, switch statement came into picture. So here also you can write multiple conditions. The switch statement executes one block of statement from multiple blocks of statements based on condition again. If condition is, so switch, so this variable or expression, and check the condition block. So every case here is a one condition in the nested if else. So then value 1, so then write the break statement. Then case value 2, then break, and so on default. So that's the switch case. So every case after you need to write a break. Otherwise, what will happen? So until next break is available, even this case is not true also, this will execute. For example, you don't have a break here after this. First one is satisfied and break you didn't mention. So this case 1 will execute, then it will come to case 2 also, and then you found the break. So then even though this is not true, and this block also will execute. So that means a misinterpretation right here. So each block you want to execute, then you want to skip. Obviously you need to write a break statement. If you are not writing a break statement, then it will keep on so going for till the last break it finds. So that's the switch case. So this is how switch case will execute. First variable or expression checks if that expression variable matches the case 1, and case 1 block will execute. Then break it. If you are not writing break explicitly, and it will go to case 2, even though this case 2 is not true. So until where next break is available, all the other cases will execute. So make sure, so you have this. And so last one is a default block, like a else block in the nested if else, right? Same way. So default case will be executed here. If all these cases are not true, and finally default case will execute. Okay, that's all, and let's do the program after this, and we'll yeah, let's go to one more also. Let me explain one more. Loops. Then we'll go to these programs. So loops, we have a basically you want to execute a repeated block of code until such condition is true. So you want to execute same block of code multiple times, and until that condition is false, then you can go for the loops. Otherwise, for example, you want to print so 100 numbers. So 100 times you cannot write a print statement, right? If you want to print a 10, okay, 10 times it is possible. But 100 times if you want to write a print statement, it becomes very big. So in order to avoid that so lengthy code and same block of code you want to execute, you will use a loops. So we have 4 loops: while loop, and then we have do while loop, and then we have for loop, for each loop. These are the 4 types of loops we have. So while loop is basically, so while loop allows code to be executed repeatedly until a condition is satisfied. If the total number of iterations is not fixed, it is recommended to use a while loop. So it is also known as the entry control loop. That means first check the condition, then enter into the body. So that is the while loop. So if the condition is written true, then only this body will execute. If this condition returns false, and then this body won't execute. So the loop terminates, so which marks this end of the loop. And this is the while loop syntax: initialization, while condition curly bracket logic plus statements increment or decrement. So I already given this increment and decrement operators. So that's the while loop structure. See, was to check the condition and enter into the while loop body, and then while loop body inside the operator will increment, the value increments, and again go and check the condition. So once the condition is true, again goes into the body. Body will execute and goes back again for condition. If condition is false, it will come out from the entire while loop. So that is the simple while loop. And so if you see this printing 1 to 10. Okay, let me show you here. So I just want to explain here. So when you can use here less than or equal to, when you can use here greater than or equal to, and when you can use plus plus, and when you can use minus minus. So this is very important. See, your initialization is a small number like int I equal to 1, and you want to go till 100 or till more than the initialization number, then always use less than or equal to. So less than or equal to. So equal to, when you can use the end part also you want to execute, you can use a less than or equal to. Then you can use a increment operator. So smaller to bigger you are going. That means incremental part. So ascending order. So you start with a small number and you go till big, and you want to check all the iterations. Use less than or equal to in the condition and increment in the body. For example, you want to iterate, so bigger, right? You want to iterate, so from bigger number to lower number, bigger number to lower number. Then you can iterate, so this greater than or equal to symbol, then statements, and you can use a decrement operator. That means a descending order. That means your initialization value is very high, and in the condition you want to go to lowest part. That means bigger to lower, then use always greater than symbol, and then a decrement operator. So that's what, right? When your starting value is bigger, if you want to reach the smallest one, what you need to do? Every iteration you reduce one, then you can reach to this lowest point. And same way, vice versa. If you start a smallest number, you want to go to bigger number, and use less than or equal to here, and use increment. You increment one by one to reach the bigger point. So that's why you're using a increment operator. So are you all clear on these points? Why, when you can use less than or equal to, when you can use plus plus operator, and why so you need to use greater than in that descending order time, and decrement operator. So that's one thing very important. And so if you want, let me write a small code, and I will show you that. Java. So you have to follow the rules while loop. If you see here, So I started int I equal to 1. So initialization while I less than or equal to 10. Till 10 I want to print. So simply just print so I value. Then increment the I value. So this is the ascending order, right? You started with the lowest number. You want to go to till maximum. So what I'm doing, that's why less than or equal to my I value less than 10 or less than or equal to 10. You reiterate it. And every time I value will increment. Then it will go to condition here. So it will repeat. So that's what here. You will check here. So manually you write everything. 1 less than or equal to 10. No. So true comes inside. So I value will print 10. So I value will print, sorry, 1, right? 1 will print. So next I value will increment here. So here I value will print once, 1. So it will come and I value will increment to 2. So again it will go here condition. Now I value is 2, not 1 now. So 2 less than 2 less than or equal to 10. True comes inside. So it will print 2 and comes inside here. I value becomes 3 because 2. So I plus plus means current I value 2 plus 1, 3. So again it will go here, check the condition. So 3 less than or equal to 10, true, comes inside. So 3 will print and then I value will update to 4. Again goes here, I value is 4 now, 4 less than or equal to 10, true, and comes inside, 4 will print. Again I value will update to 5. So goes again condition, because every time you get a new value in the body, it has to go and check the condition. So 5 less than or equal to 10, true, comes inside 5, and then so I value will increment to 6. And so here it will check. So 6 less than or equal to 10, true, and comes inside, and 6 will print. Then I value will update to 7. Again it will check the condition, 7 less than or equal to 10, true, and comes inside, 7 will print. Then I value will increment to 8, and so 8 less than or equal to 10, true, and so prints 8, and then so I value will increment to 9, and again same, it will every time 9 less than or equal to 10, true, and comes inside, 9 will print, and then I value will update to 10. So then here it will check. So 10 less than or equal to 10. True or false? 10 less than or equal to 10.
True, sir.
So true. 10 less than 10 false, but 10 equal to 10 is true. So it will print, 10 will print. So now comes here, I value will increment to 11. And here, so 11 less than or equal to 10. True or false?
False.
False. So it doesn't go inside loop. So this is how code will execute. And try. So here you put a 10 and here you put a 1. So then you have to change here. Greater than or equal to, and you change here to I minus minus. So if you put less than or equal to 1, and see, if you same thing, if you modify, so int j equal to 10, and while, so j less than or equal to 1 if you put this first time itself, it will become false, right? First time itself it will become false. Is it right or not? So that's why you have to write like this, so that you can catch the issue here, what mistake you have done. If you are not writing that thing, and it's difficult to catch. See that? I'm writing like my, so j value 10 less than or equal to 1. So is true or false?
True.
10 less than 1. True or? Where is your mathematics, sir? 10 is smaller
False.
than 1.
False.
So that's what false. So it doesn't come inside the, well, that means this is wrong. So you have to put a greater than or equal to 1. So 1, so always your j value should be greater than or equal to 1. So now we see, if we change this to greater than or equal to, then it will become true. So this is how, when you need to write a greater than, when you need to write a, so less than or equal to in the condition place. So easily, if you write a step by step, then comes here. So once the condition is true, it will come into the body. Then execute this also. Then it will go to condition. So this flow, if you know, and you are good with the loops. Otherwise, it's so difficult to understand. So next we have do while loop. So do while loop is basically similar to while loop only. And do while loop is first body will execute, then condition will be checked. So that's a do while loop. It's like a while loop is first condition will check, then body will execute. But in the do while loop, first body will execute before condition check. Before your condition becomes false, at least once your body will execute. While do while body will execute, do block body will execute, and then check the condition. Even though if condition is false also, but one time it sure you will execute this do block. That's why this is also called exit control loop. While loop is a entry control loop, and do while is a exit control loop. So that's the do while loop, how it executes. So do while loop is simple. So int k equal to 1 and do curly bracket, and you can put k plus plus. K less than or equal to 10. But this is not the right program for this, but you can see that I just want to show you. See, body, this k starts and body will execute, then check the condition, and it keep going. This is the do while loop, and decrement with the while loop, and this is the normal one. Okay, so again this also will print all 1 to 10 only, and this will 10 to 1 it will print. It is a 1 to 10 it will print. So if you execute that 1 to 10, so 10 to 1, and again 1 to 10. So that is this so while loop and do while loop. Okay, so next one is for loop. So basically a for loop is So if user wants to execute a block of code several times, number of iterations. So if number of iterations, you want to execute so that many iterations, and you can go for the for loop. So the for loop structure also similar. Initialization, condition, body of the for loop, increment or decrement. So this is the same order the code will execute. First initialization will execute, then condition, then body of the for loop, then increment and decrement. So once this increment, decrement over, again condition, next iteration, again it will go to condition. If condition is true, body of the loop will execute. Then, so value will increment or decrement, it will happen. This is the simple for loop structure. For bracket, initialization, semicolon, condition, semicolon, increment or decrement you will write. Then curly bracket, statements, curly bracket ends. So this is the for loop structure. So let me show you here the for loop structure, how it is. See, first initialization will execute, then it will come to condition. If condition is true, and the for loop body will execute. So whatever you write, body, for loop body inside, and body will execute. So once the body is done, so where cursor will go? Increment or decrement part. That means the third part. So first in the for loop, in the single line, everything you have, right? Initialization, condition, increment or decrement. This is the one. Initialization, condition, increment or decrement. Then body will be there. So after, so the condition check, it will come to body. Body after, it will go to increment or decrement part. Once the I value is increment or update happened here, that updated I value will be used here in the condition again. If the condition is true, again comes to the body. Again, body after increment part. So like this, it will execute this one. Let me show you that. So one more. For loop is so similar kind, it will execute. So structure you follow int. So L equal to 1, L less than or equal to 10, L plus plus. And then, so you can print L value. So for example, I don't want to print in all of them, these things in the same, in the next line. So what you can do, you can just put /t in the same line, it will print. And then you can, so after this, you can bring the cursor to next line. So this is the one we can do. I don't want to print. So everything, and I'll just print